Hello and welcome back to the GeForce SC2 Pro-Am presented by NVIDIA. I am Day9.
And I am H to the Husky.
And we are tied up 2-2 right now.
1-1.
Whoa, so we're in.
Same. I mean, it's the same thing, really.
We've seen 2 games, and we are tied up 1-1.
All right, Sean. Spawning in the bottom left side is once again going to be Complexity's Cruncher. I just realized they are spawning as blue and orange, which if you reminisce about the Fast and the Furious, I believe it is Tokyo Drift, where he is driving the blue and orange car. 2 colors that do not go together, but are still my favorite colors regardless. I'm way off on a tangent. In the top right side is Slayer's Boxer.
The Emperor himself going to build that first supply depot. And in the bottom left, we have Complexity's Cruncher, who's been making a lot of very strong performances throughout the season, taking down Golden Foe U2O in the group stages with some insanely, seemingly unstoppable Zealot Archonage. And now also going into his mass gateway style. I mean, both players made a blunder. Boxer in Game 2, Cruncher in Game 1, and now they got that out of their system. Now it's time for a good old best of 3.
Yeah, no more blundering around here because, I mean, it's going to be down to the wire here after this game. We are guaranteed one more game, but whoever loses this game is going to not have the momentum moving into the next game. We saw the importance of momentum in one of the most previous series that we cast. It was the PvT MMA versus MVP. Make sure to go check it out if you haven't. But, yeah, I mean, both these players, the map, going to be Xel'Naga Caverns. I'm curious how both these players are going to kind of play this one out, because in this best of 5 series, there's so many different types of maps, and whether it be in the size or the amount of expansions or whatever, that they really have to come prepared here. Like the build that we did in last game, is that something that's going to work in this game? I don't even know if you can fit that many gateways in your main on this map.
Yeah, I definitely think that the 2 racks opening is going to be the most common, the expected opening by Slayer's Boxer. We don't actually see it thrown down yet. First getting that orbital command, and interestingly, a gas deal by Complexity's Cruncher. That's definitely going to force Boxer to do what he was likely going to do anyways.
As the probe sneaks out of there right now. And, yeah, gas steals.
There it is.
There, yep, second barracks going down right now. He does have the orbital going down. And stealing a gas of a Terran, yeah, it can be annoying, but there's so many openers that a Terran can utilize. And a lot of times on this map, we've seen them get the command center inside the main base just to make a lot of SCVs. And the cybernetics core for Cruncher going down right now. Obviously, he's not going to be expanding before gateway or anything like that. On a map like this, that's something very difficult to pull off, because your expansion always wide open, especially to that early pressure. You have no idea what angle those Marines are going to come at you at, or come at you in, and set up those bunkers. I give up.
Prepositions flying all over the place like bullets.
English, not my first language. Actually, it's my only language, which would make you think I would be okay at it. But regardless, not going to be doing that, because this map, Sean, I would dare a Protoss to try to fast expand and not get rushed at some.
That is absolutely true. I mean, like, I think the biggest important idea, if you keep your units here to defend your ramp and your base, they swing all the way along this far right side and just punish you hard. And I wanted to come back, though, to your comment that English is the only language you speak. Yeah, I don't think nerds give themselves enough credit for knowing all the complicated, you know, language of video games and all the culture. I mean, like, you think hearing, you know, French people talk is hard to understand. Man, try StarCraft players or Magic the Gathering players. Oh my God.
You know, Magic, I actually played Magic in high school, Sean, and I went to a professional Magic the Gathering tournament. I had no idea what was going on. Did you know it's against the rules to, like, read the card? You have to go in knowing everything. So that'd be like if you're in a StarCraft tournament and you hover over your Marine to see how much damage he does, immediately expelled from that tournament.
Oh my, that's appalling. You know, I was actually reading a rule book for Magic the Gathering, and it honestly, there were rules that were created via gameplay, and they just sounded like treaties. You know, It was like the Herman Stoker Compromise. You know, it's like, this is what you do in this, like Milton Consequences. They were these extreme corner case scenarios that can crop up in there, and you know what? That's another language in my book.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Sean. So a very valid point. Also a valid point is Boxer trying to put on a lot of pressure here, and he is going to try and pressure this semi-early Nexus out of Cruncher. And is he going to be able to do it? There are only 3 sentries right here, but force fields can be pretty good. And he tried to snipe that sentry there, but again, the Tickle Noodle Monster cannot do a lot of damage. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold this. Here he goes, pulling the probe. He's waiting for the Warp Gate technology. Is he going to be able to do it? Boxer wants to snipe this desperately, but the Warp Gates are done. This is a very tense moment right now.
And oh no, Cruncher warping in really far away from the ramp. This is going to be unbelievably close, Husky.
Yeah, very dicey here. Boxer's trying to back out. He realizes one good force field could end it all, could also end the game for him. So he wants to make sure to not overcommit. Another Marauder going to be running down here. Of course, they do additional damage versus those armored units, also buildings as well. And it looks like a minor engagement here. This Marauder says, "Don't worry, guys. I'm going to Rambo my way to killing that Nexus." And unfortunately, this is not an action flick. This is StarCraft. So that was very unrealistic.
That poor Marauder doing his Nicolas Cage impersonation. Kaiser now retreating with everything, getting himself an extra orbital command, and I really have to stop calling him Kaiser. His name is Slayer's Boxer. I mean, I'm embarrassed. I'm a huge Slayer's Boxer fanboy myself, so much so that at MLG, when he defeated Rain 2-1 in the semifinals of the winners bracket, I was so happy I ran up and hugged him, and he just held both hands away like I had some sort of biological, disease, and it's just like deeply embarrassing. He was just like, ugh, just held his hands back.
God. But a memory to remember forever, Sean.
I know. I must have looked weird. I was like sweaty and haggard because I've been casting all day, and I actually didn't have shoes on, and my legs were rolled up. Or my pants were rolled up because it was really, really hot in there, and then I just come staggering, screaming a language he doesn't understand, and he must have just thought, what is this guy playing Magic the Gathering?
And then after that, he never attended another foreigner tournament. We have no idea why. Don't know if those two things are related, but right now it does look like Cruncher going to be moving out here with just a couple of units. There's a lot of sentries there. He needs to make sure to keep this alive. Kind of reminiscent of a PvZ where you're going to have a lot of sentries. I don't know if this is going to have the same impact as what we saw in the last game, simply because there are so many sentries, but there's not a whole lot to back it up. In that previous game, we saw a lot of Zealots to back it up. Here it goes right now. There's 2 bunkers this time. The force fields right there will snipe 2 Marines, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to actually break down the entrance here.
And it's kind of funny because we've seen these giant pressure attempts by both players, and what they do is they come off, shoot twice, and retreat. It looks like we've had a little bit of not-so-permanent damage done to the Nexus, and 2 Marines are down. So far, so good. No 2 gigantic exchanges, but I'm a little concerned for Slayer's Boxer. He has gone for the very, very fast medevac, but note how far behind his 3rd barracks is. And often this can feel kind of similar. 2 barracks, 1 starport. What's the difference between that and 3 barracks, 1 starport? Well, you basically have 2/3 of the army that you would have had. And you'll notice that 2/3 is oftentimes just enough to let you die.
Yeah, that is true, Sean. Oh, I love working math into this as much as possible. But here's the Colossus off of 2 base. Once again, we've seen Cruncher attempt this before, and he would have pulled it off, I think, last time if he just didn't lose all the Colossus, which is kind of the crucial part. And he is going for that double forge again. Now, this is something, again, if you're a Protoss player on ladder, it can be difficult to pull off, but you have to have a really good read on, can I squeeze in that +1/+1? What exactly is my opponent doing? If he sees these medevacs, he knows there's less units. Might be safer to do that, but drops always an imminent threat.
And notice how hard it is for him to have enough money to actually build this. He's just now getting enough gas, but if you start spending Chrono Boost on those upgrades, my god, it is so hard to get that done. Husky! And right now, he's just beginning them, and if he Chrono Boosts these too much, he's going to be in a situation where he just cannot support both all the units he wants to build and these upgrades at the same time. That's generally why you see players go Speed Zealot when they go for this double up, because it's the only way to have enough gas.
Yeah, and some players do rely on getting Blink and then trying to keep those Stalkers alive as long as possible, sacrificing the Zealots in those engagements. But right now we'll see exactly what he has planned. I mean, he is working on that Thermal Lance right now. He should have 1 Colossus out. Yes, he does. Is he going to push with 1 Colossus? Usually you're going to wait till 2, but there's double Viking production now as 2 just spawned, 2 more are already on the way. So it becomes a balance of, does Boxer make too many Vikings or does he make too little? Same thing for Cruncher, although it has to do with the Colossus. And so a lot of times it can come down to, does he have 1 or 2 few or too many Colossus, and how many ground units does he have?
I'm just enjoying this game so much because it's like what we saw in Game 1, but because Xel'Naga Caverns is a lot smaller, there's a lot more aggression, there's a lot more tension. Can Boxer afford to get these very long reactor upgrades? No, it looks like he's actually just going straight for the tech labs on all of these barracks. He does only have 1 starport, no additional ones. Cruncher now starting to have to be very, very razor keen on spotting at that minimap, make certain that no drops sneak by, because again, getting caught out of position, I mean, what if you are having to pull all the way to the backside just to defend a drop, and then they just sweep into your gold? It's like instant death.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Protoss players are starting to learn, is that they have to split up their armies perfectly, because a lot of players may overreact, send their entire army, which when you have this many Marines, it's going to be 16 in his main base. The probe will spot, though, if he was watching, and this is exactly what he wants. He wants Boxer to take the bait to go ahead and kill that pylon. And for Boxer, I mean, yes, he's getting a pylon, but he's not dropping inside the main base. Here comes the Stalkers right now. They're going to attempt to intercept. It doesn't look like they will, but he has split off his Colossus inside the main base, so it does look like Cruncher responding to this very well. It's just he may not be able to snipe the medevacs.
The Colossi are getting ready to headbutt any incoming medevacs out of the sky, but unfortunately they don't have necks. It's going to be very difficult. They might just march right off the cliff. We see one Stalker is there, and looks like Cruncher having to do the annoying defense because on Xel'Naga Caverns you apparently have this little crevasse that sneaks along the edge.
And it looks like the army in the middle starting to look pretty strong for both players. It does look like Boxer is way ahead in supply, but is it going to be enough? Because a lot of that supply is in that drop that's just sitting back at home, and that is 4 of the Colossus. And the Stalkers, can they get the medevac right here? It's kind of crucial. One medevac goes down with 6 Marines. The other one is going to go down as well. It looks like, it barely gets away.
10 health.
10 HP.
The Colossus. Headbutt him, and they get him taken down. Amazing cleanup right there by Cruncher. In the units lost tab, we see a lot for Boxer, a little for Cruncher. It's a lot of blue and not so much orange. 2-2 upgrades on the way. Not having those pop down with immediacy, but again, still ahead of Terran in terms of ups.
Yeah, and as far as the supply counts, killing those 2 medevacs has even the supplies. Here comes a major engagement. Wow. It's going to be trapping about a 5th of that army, but the Colossus in pretty, I mean, are they going to be okay versus these Vikings? It looks like the Viking positioning is not going to be strong enough. The Colossus have already done the damage, also focus firing the SCVs in that battle. It does look like he is going to back out here. But does Boxer actually have enough to finish the job? Because +2/+2 is on the way.
Wow! Cruncher actually pulled back for just a temporary amount of time to let another warp in happen, but Boxer takes the opportunity and immediately counterattacks. Cruncher would have won the battle up on top, but by pulling back for just 5 seconds, Boxer will take out the third base of Cruncher.
And that is a high-yield base at that. That shows you the power of Marauders. If you let them attack a building for just a second, especially at this stage of the game with +1, they are going to kill it right away. So Cruncher realizes, I need to return the favor. Can he do it? Planetary Fortresses are pretty good, and those force fields, while they cut the army in half, didn't completely cut it in half in that they can run around the bottom side and regroup. So Cruncher was in a really good spot, but losing that high yield really sucks for him. Maybe, Sean, he's waiting for the +2/+2.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I mean, in this position where suddenly you've fallen back to a little bit of a disadvantage, you can get away with waiting just 20 more seconds for those upgrades to finish before pushing in, but it looks like Cruncher's going to push in from the wide angle. His force fields are going to be weaker, but he can get a better spread with his Colossi and Stalkers. Nice poke, and now he's going to be finishing up +2/+2, just 10 more in-game seconds, which is just like a nanosecond in real time.
Yeah, Blizzard does live on different time. Now he needs to warp in as many units as he can, and won't be able to force field there. Boxer playing it very safe. He is going to be backing up. The Viking count, though, is very, very low. There's only 2 Vikings on the field right now, and this army, while it is Marauder heavy, can still take a lot of damage from those Colossus. Now at the +2/+2 finish, is this going to be the moment where Cruncher attacks, or is it going to be the moment where he decides to re-secure his own high-yield expansion? He has not started +3/+3. He is supply blocked, so I imagine there's going to be engagement here pretty soon.
And there goes Cruncher now pushing up to the top side. I really think he needs to begin being a little more aggressive. There's +3 armor, but again, it's so hard to have enough resources to get that +3 attack. There it finally starts. And we see Boxer only just now beginning his 2-2, getting a reactor barracks, getting another starport. Wow, actually, that's the original reactor barracks. I think Boxer is starting to realize that he is falling way too low in the Viking count.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on that. There's not that many Vikings at all. There are a couple of medevacs added in there, but it is 186 supply to 166. Is Boxer going to be able to beef his way to a victory, or does he have to start harassing, losing the Vikings? Not an option right now. He needs to keep every single one alive, especially since there's more Colossus than Vikings right now. And it does look like Cruncher has doubled his Colossus production once again. He does have 2 Colossus being produced, as well as getting that Blink. Blink is so crucial in sniping Vikings, especially if Boxer slips up once. So at this point, Boxer just now getting maxed out, and Cruncher is rushing there. So Boxer most likely going to attack because he can't make any more units. And at this point, if he keeps chrono boosting those upgrades, they're going to be done around the same time as Boxer's 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like this attack timing by Cruncher. Getting out those 3-3 upgrades is going to be incredibly key in swinging that battle into his favor. I mean, as we've seen in this matchup, generally the player who's ahead in the upgrades is the deciding factor of who wins the battle, if those armies are about the same size and controlled equally well. But not only does Cruncher about to have 3-3, but there's no ghosts in this army anywhere for Boxer.
and that's something that we would expect to see out of Boxer. A lot of ghosts utilizing that EMP, but for now, the Protoss army is going to go unchecked in that regard. That also means a lot of force fields can be utilized. There's going to be a drop moving out on the left side. The Stalkers have since gone somewhere else, as these units are dropping right here, but these aren't by any very valuable units. He has to, or the buildings rather, he has to run down here to start sniping something worthwhile. Yes, he is getting a couple of pylons here and there, but you got to remember that Cruncher is already maxed out. There's going to be a huge engagement in the center right now. Are we going to be seeing any force fields? Guardian Shield has been used. It looks like Cruncher is going to commit. He needs to clean up this army in his main base, but his +3/+3 is so close to being done.
I cannot believe, look at that. It's at 109 of 110, 1 second away, and now it looks like even the Colossus will not finish. 3-3 is done. Cruncher manages to narrowly get away with having those extra upgrades pop out, but I think Cruncher is blown away that his own Zealot with charge upgrade is not done. I mean, he has so many Zealots in this army. It's increasingly becoming Stalker heavy, as he does almost have the Blink upgrade, but just 1 more second to go. Boxer with some nice micro, Cruncher with nicer micro, keeping that Colossus alive, and whoa, keeping that Colossus dead.
Back to the graveyard with him. Let's just keep making Magic the Gathering references, but at this point, the 2-2 done for Boxer, and the 3-3 done for Cruncher, but 3-3 has begun for Boxer. It's going to be a ways out, and at this point, it's still a max supply for the Terran. Sean, do you think that Boxer did enough damage there to safely be able to just kind of sit back for a little more?
Wow, well, I think the Boxer is going to have at least some of a breather, but it looks like he's already getting ready to sacrifice his SCV so that he can replenish more units. I think Boxer's feeling extremely tense. That, oh my God, Cruncher killing one of his own Stalkers. That Stalker thought about getting wheels. No, this is a leg-only army. And oh no, this stupid doodad! And in the meantime, we see a Blink forward trying to pick off some of those Vikings, and Cruncher moving in, and Boxer just going for the counterplay. Nice decision-making by Boxer. He would definitely lose this engagement, but it looks like Boxer has lost his only big mining operation, and Cruncher is getting increasingly close to a win.
Yeah, you got to remember that Cruncher also has the base down at the other expansion, so if he loses his high yield, he does have a safe place to expand to with all of those tropes. Here comes the big battle. This is going to be the one. Guardian Shield has been utilized. Blinking goes back. There is no Zealot charge, though, so the force field is actually preventing the Zealots from doing too much damage. Focus firing on the Vikings. Is there enough Stalkers, though? This is quite a large amount of anti-armor with those Stalkers. It does look like he will clean this up. He'll most likely warp in a lot of units, but Shotty's producing 3 Colossus at once. He definitely wants to take control of the ground. He just needs to make sure to deal with the other units that are in the air, like these medevacs flying around his base, able to snipe all of them but one. And Boxer honestly just trying to buy as much time as possible, but he definitely lost that engagement. Even though he killed the high-yield expansion, he is in full retreat, and there's a nice swell of Marauders there as he has been able to macro those out, but 80 supply to 131.
God, this is why I love Xel'Naga Caverns. Look at this. 29 workers, 51 workers, 1 base mining for Cruncher. Extremely low foods. This is such an intense map, and now it looks like Cruncher has to track down this final big push from Boxer. 2 Colossi quite vulnerable, as only Ticklers are there to defend them.
Yeah.
We see the Stalkers now. Oh my God, Cruncher, the Protoss army surrounding the Terran. Boxer's trying to micro as best he can, doing the scoot and shoot micro, but no, it looks like Cruncher has managed to clean up absolutely everything. And there it finally falls, and Cruncher now up 2-1 against Boxer with some phenomenal decision-making.
Yeah, and Boxer just finished that 3-3 there at the end. He was able to get that up, but all he had left was an army that was half the size of Cruncher's. So great game there by Cruncher. His blink was a little bit delayed there, kind of a nervous moment for him, but he was able to take a win here. And he is up 2-1. That is pretty fascinating stuff. I got to hand it to Cruncher for playing so phenomenally well versus the Emperor himself. So in these future games, I'm wondering, is Boxer, is he going to keep making Marines and Marauders? Is that what he's going to stick with?
Or will he make Ghosts? Or will he make
Blue Flame Hellions?
That's literally exactly what I thought.
We had a moment there where we made amazing eye contact and we had an understanding of each other. So we are going to go on to game number 4. Yes, 4. I'm doing my math correctly. To see if Cruncher can take it out or if Boxer is going to take it to the ace match, which would be one of the second ace matches this week. So pretty exciting stuff. And anyways, I'm done rambling. I want to see what happens in game number 4. I'm Husky.
I'm Day 9. See you right when you click game number 4.